Alexa, get me a boyfriend.
What did you say?
It's like, no. It goes,
Hey guys, so today's the day. I am finally gonna be changing my hair color at Cindy Soung Hair Studio and also doing kind of like a question and answer video of my roam around the world Asia travels. Gonna go ahead inside, see you guys there.
Hey guys, so thought I would do 2-in-1. Gonna be doing a question and answer video of the questions that you guys had about my roam around the world trip, as well as a lot of you guys have been asking about like expenses when I was in Asia. So like, how much did the flight cost? How much did accommodation, things to do, activities, tours, etc. So gonna get my hair colored. What are we doing right now? What is this?
We're bleaching you.
We're bleaching. So you'll see throughout the video the progression, and yeah, I also have a meeting to dial into in like an hour. We'll see how it goes. So we got the bleach on and the hair cap. What are these called? The lamp? The heat lamps.
Heat lamps.
So to start this segment off, I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about how much things cost. A lot of you guys were interested. So
Jerome, look at this. Alexa, turn on heat lamp.
oh my gosh. Alexa, get me a boyfriend.
What did you say?
It's like, no.
Decline.
It goes,
Request decline.
request. For flights from Seattle to Manila and then from Saigon to Seattle, I got them in like a multi-destination. I got it at Expedia for $710 US, and I flew with Asian Airline. From Manila to Tokyo round trip, I got it with Cebu Pacific, which was for $310, and then from Manila to Saigon one way, I got it for $102. Accommodations. So in the Philippines, I stayed at the Discovery Primea Hotel, and luckily I had 2 nights complimentary from the hotel because I had stayed there before. They had seen my video and they wanted to invite me back for 2 nights. So for the 3rd night, I ended up paying for that same room, the 2-bedroom suite, $346, which is a little bit steep, but considering I got the first 2 nights for free, I was like, why not? For Tokyo, we stayed at an Airbnb for 1 whole week, and we got it at the Sangenjaya neighborhood, which is about 2 stops from Shibuya, and we got it for $1,900 total. And it was a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, and we split it among 5 people, which means it was $270 per person, which equated to like $54 per night per person, which is, I think, pretty affordable, seeing that we also got a big space, we got a kitchen, and then in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, I stayed at the Hotel de Art M Gallery, which is part of that Accor hotel group, if you guys know that larger hotel group. But I got it for $143 a night at Expedia, and I stayed there for 3 nights, so it's about $430, and that's with tax. Okay, so things that I did. I'll start with the Philippines. When I went to the People's Park in Tagaytay, that was free because it was a big park. Got to see a good view of Taal and Tagaytay. The boat ride to Taal was $50 US, which we had split among 5 people. So there's 5 of us. We got to go to Taal, and then that's where I had that cool drone footage. I didn't stay in the Philippines that long, so next would be Tokyo, Japan. We went to the Shibuya Crossing, which was free. Of course, it's just like a really massive street crossing that a lot of people just take video about. The next day we went to Disneyland Tokyo, which was about $66.38 US, and that was crazy because whenever people go to Disneyland in like Anaheim, I've heard people spend like up to $120, $130, so I thought it was a pretty affordable thing to do considering like the prices elsewhere. When we went to the Meiji Shrine, that was free. No entrance. It was pretty much a public park. But then the kimono rental that we rented for the day when we went to the Meiji Temple was about $55 for the entire day. A little bit steep in price, but it was such a good experience. It's probably one of my favorite things that I did in Japan. One of the nights we went and did karaoke and food, and did karaoke for 2 hours. With the food, it cost about $18. In the dog cafe where me, Say, and Irish went, we got to be with the dogs for I think like 45 minutes. That cost $15 of entrance fee. The Tokyo Tower, one of the nights, we went, me, Kim, and my cousin Irish, we went to the top, and the entrance to that was about $9 US. At Odaiba Beach, it was that man-made beach that you saw towards the end of Tokyo, it was $0, and that was pretty good. Around Odaiba, there was the big Ferris wheel. We went around one revolution, and it was about $6 per person. So in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, I had a chance to go to many different sites within the city and then outside. At the Ben Thanh Market, it was just pretty much this public market that was selling a lot of different types of things like clothing, watches, but that was for free. Also for free was the Notre Dame Cathedral, Saigon. It was pretty much really close to the Ben Thanh Market, maybe like about a quarter mile away. One of my favorite things that I did in Asia was the Vespa food tour, where we got to go to like 5 different places, and it was pretty much like a progressive dinner where we got to go to like different districts for each course. That was a little bit steeper, but it was recommended by a coworker of mine, so I went ahead and did it, and I don't regret it at all. It was $95 for the entire night, and considering that it was like dinner and then transportation and experience, I thought that it was well worth it. I did it with Vespa Adventures. One of the days I went to the Mekong Delta, did a Delta tour, went by land, did the river tour on a canoe, got to eat, and that was $25. It was such a good deal. I got that deal with my hotel through Ginkgo Voyage Tours. Transportation whenever you get into a specific country or city is also important. So when I was in the Philippines, the Uber from my hotel to the airport was about $2.72, and I got it at like 2 in the morning. In Japan, we got the Suica card and the refill, and it lasted us for 1 whole week, and we used the train station everywhere, and that cost about $80 total. So about a little bit over $10 a day. Going to the airport from Shibuya to Narita Airport, we got the Narita Express. We took it from Shibuya Station, and that was $30. It was actually a lot quicker than what we did when we got into Tokyo, where we took the trains. We took like 3 or 4 different trains, and it took so much longer than doing the Narita Express. So if you were to choose between the two, and if money is not a factor and time is a factor, definitely try the Narita Express. The airport shuttle from Saigon to District 1 was really cheap. I got it at the airport on the arrivals area, and it was $9. And then I took Uber twice when I went to Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The first one was the Uber, which was a bike, and I didn't really get that much vlog footage from it, but it was super amazing. It was from $1.20 between District 2 and District 1, so about like 3 miles, 2 miles, 3 miles. And then going home, it was from District 1 to Saigon Airport, it was about $7, which is also pretty affordable considering there are places that charge like $50, $60 US. And those are my expenses. Gonna go let this heat up a little bit more, and then I'll move on later to some of your questions. I asked you guys on social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, if you guys had any questions for me, and that'll be next.
Damn, you're so blonde. Dream lift. Oh, you're my dream client, Jerome.
Oh my gosh, are we done? No,
Should we just keep it like this?
I was like, can you keep it like this?
Like beaver blonde?
Oh, like Chris.
Damn.
I look like a nun. I did look like a nun. Father, how art thou? Okay, so now that we are all blonde and dried, I'll start with questions that were sent to me on my Instagram stories. Biskraya asks, what were the worst and best moments on your trip? So the best moments, man, there's so many. Being with friends and family was amazing, and going to Disneyland Tokyo was pretty awesome. Worst moments, there wasn't really that many bad moments. I think just like the times where you kind of got lost and you didn't know where you were, but then that can also be somewhat fun as well, because you know, getting lost and wandering is also part of traveling. Namo Singh 939 asks, hey Jerome, hope you're doing great. My question is, where do you see yourself after 10 years? What is my future plans? Oh, it's deep. I find myself married with 1 or 2 kids whom either are adopted or are surrogate, and then possibly still doing YouTube for fun still. There are a lot of YouTubers that do YouTube just for the money and fame, but I do it because I think it's fun. And then still working in design. And then the last question on Insta stories was from Seatte. Hey Say! What is the scariest thing that happened to you while traveling alone? Hashtag AskROME. I'm trying to think of the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I've not gotten kidnapped, never raped. So I'm pretty lucky in that regard. I've never gotten pickpocketed. Watch, all of these things are gonna happen in my next trip, Peru, September. The moments that I had like the most anxiety have always been in the airport when I go to the Manila Ninoy Aquino International Airport. I find that, and it gets better throughout the years, but back in 2011, I had the worst experience. There's many moments, but one, I got kind of scammed by the person who collects a terminal fee. So she took my money, but didn't stamp my passport, so I had to pay the terminal fee twice. As well as one time I was put on a weighing scale so that they know how much me and my carry-on items weighed, which is really awkward. So yeah, gonna go to my meeting right now, so I'll see you guys in a bit. The controlled rose gold. I love this color. We what did we do?
We did 7RG on the bottom, and then also shadow rooted it with that, and then we did 9RG on the ends, and then overlaid with viral in pastel pink.
Ooh. You said we'll see how it is with
when it dries.
Yeah. Ooh. I love it. The hair is a rose gold, and I love it.
So pretty. So
pretty. We were just talking about my cowlick.
It's acting out, but it's good.
It's acting like a little hoe, just everywhere. Anyways, to continue on with the questions, I also posted a picture on Instagram. It's pretty much like AskROME. Hansel Doan, he asks, hello, I wish to make a trip to Japan in 2018 and would like to know how to get around the country. I am aware that Japan publishes transportation system in pretty advanced. Any tips for foreigners who do not speak Japanese? Things. I think that in general, there are some people that speak English in Japan. I would say definitely get a Suica card because the transportation, like the trains there are really well thought out. It takes you to many different areas and neighborhoods within Japan. And if you need a fast way to get from the airport to the city or backwards, get the Narita Express. Maria from Life with Glasses says, what do you regret and what would you have done better during your travels? Love your travel vlogs. Thank you so much, Maria, and I miss you. If you guys remember, Maria was from, she went to my meet and greet in London, and we just became friends on Instagram. What do I regret? I wished that I would have tried more food. Sometimes I get a little bit unadventurous when it comes to trying different types of food. I know that I like certain types, so I'll try like food from that specific or general area, but in general, trying more foods and being more adventurous with that. I think that in general, I'm happy with my travels. I think that in Japan, we did a lot more shopping and less going to places that are more like landmarks and points of interest, so doing a little bit more of that. Mitch Mabs 88 says, lounge access and pass, how to, please. So if you guys remember my video, I went to several different airport lounges with the priority pass. It looks like that. The priority pass I got with my credit card, which is the Chase Sapphire Reserve. That's one of the benefits to getting that card. It's a travel credit card. It is a little bit steep for its annual fee. It's about $400 US a year, but you get a lot of benefits with that, especially if you are traveling, you can take advantage of those benefits. So there's no foreign transaction fee. You get $300 back in travel. So like whether you purchase a flight, check-in baggage, you get that reimbursed. So it's really $100. And then you also get the priority pass. If you don't want to get a credit card like that with, you know, that type of fee, they have different memberships with priority pass so that you can try out different airport lounges. There's different memberships, but pretty much there's over 1,000 airport lounges throughout the world in over 140 different countries. It definitely was an advantage to do that because I know for myself, traveling, especially if you have layovers, having access to somewhere that you can just relax and somewhere that possibly might have a shower. Rag have C6 says, hi Jerome. My question is, what is your favorite place that you have ever traveled to? Obviously the Philippines, to see family, because I think that whenever I visit family, it's just like, I'm so happy when I do that. And I'll throw in another curveball and say Hong Kong, because I used to live in Hong Kong, and whenever I visit, I am pretty familiar with the area. And London too. Des Marie B says, hi Jerome, do you plan to visit NYC? Probably not this year, maybe next year. I want to go back to the US Open in Flushing Meadows. Bea Reggio says, hi Jerome, since you travel a lot, I wonder if you have any tips for first-time travelers who want to get a better deal in booking their tickets. Thank you. P.S. found you through Say, and I'm glad I subscribed to your channel. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. My tips are to be very flexible with the date that you want to travel. There are sites like Google Flights that aggregate different flight schedules throughout all of the services provided, whether it's like an airline carrier website or if it's an OTA, an online travel agency like Expedia. It curates all of the prices and gives you the best price from whatever's out there. Joyce says, how do you plan and organize your trip? I typically like to go to places that I've never been before. So in September I'm going to Peru, and in December I'm going to South Africa, and I've never been to those places before. I like to go to places also where if I'm going with somebody, someplace that they have never been to, or if I'm going to a place somewhere that I know that lives there so that I have a local to show me around. For organization, I don't know, I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to stuff. Sometimes I have a spreadsheet, sometimes I just kind of save things. I am, Archibald says in Tagalog, sino mas pogi, Pinoy, Hapon, or Vietnamese? So they're asking, do I think Filipinos or Vietnamese are cuter? They're both cute. On Snapchat, I have a few questions here as well. Aloha54 asks, how was the experience? I think the experience was awesome. Like being able, to cram 3 countries in 2 weeks, or 4 countries in 2 weeks is just very time consuming, and so you want to make sure that you appreciate and just soak it all in, but then sometimes it felt like you just didn't have enough time to do all that you wanted to do. So Japan, like although we stayed there 1 week, I could have stayed there another week or 2 because it's so big. Sam asks, oh no. Sam asks an inappropriate question. We're not going to answer that. I know, it's not. This is YouTube, not XTube. Fahad Al-Shalan asks, what is your thoughts about Saudi Arabia, and are you intending to visit it? Oh, I think this is my subscriber from Saudi Arabia. My thoughts on Saudi Arabia is it's a very interesting country to live in. I know that there are a lot of speculative things about it, like, you know, women's rights, gay rights in Saudi Arabia. I know that there are places that you can't even drink alcohol. So it's a very different country. I don't know yet if I would be able or could visit. I mean, I don't go to places like to, you know, be gay and be like having fun. Like I went to Dubai and I made sure, you know, to not gay it up as much. It's definitely some place where gay rights and women's rights is definitely something that is different than here. John Hunk Mukia says, how was your experience visiting Disney World Japan, or Disneyland Japan? It was so good. I really liked going to Disneyland Japan. I wish, that's another thing that I regretted, not going to Disney Sea, which is the equivalent for Land and Sea but in Tokyo. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you want to see a haul video of the things that I got in Japan, because I think that's the next video that I'm going to do. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
For the hair. Come say hi. If you guys want cool hair like this, definitely check out Cindy Soung Hair Studio. I'll leave all of her links down below. I love my hair.
Rose gold.
She, if you guys remembered, she did my gray hair during Christmas, the silver gray hair, and then my green hair for Japan. So we got rose gold hair for summer. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.